Well, as we discussed earlier, Paul Keating did not hold back at the National Press Club today, slamming the Labor government, Anthony Albanese, Joe Biden and the entire AUKUS deal. There was barely anyone he didn't miss. One of the journalists who held him to account, Sky News political reporter Olivia Caisley, who joins me now from Canberra. Olivia, this was a very fiery press club address from Paul Keating. He really outlined the case against AUKUS and was very critical of Anthony Albanese and Penny Wong, people he described as the far left of the Labor Party, or once would have been far left. This has done two things. Look, it has opened up and laid bare divisions within Labor that have been very well hidden until now. And it's also kind of opened a debate, which there used to be a lot of in the old Labor Party, debates about policy. And now that doesn't happen so much anymore. What were your main takeouts from his speech today?
Well, I guess my main takeouts from the speech were how sort of out of sync he is really compared to, the rest of his party, at least what they're saying publicly, and also the US, the UK and academics when it comes to China's undisputed, increased military engagement, say in the Indo-Pacific and the building up of arms, etc. I think when it comes to the speech itself, I mean, it was pretty entertaining. I haven't been to many press club addresses where it was so kind of fiery and combative, but I do think when he was pressed on details or asked to explain his position on things such as increased military build-up from China and their increasingly aggressive stance, he couldn't quite respond or provide rationale for that, and instead attacked the likes of me, my press gallery colleagues, and even Defence Minister Richard Marles and Foreign Minister Penny Wong. So I think on the whole it was quite sort of out of sync.
You did really well, Olivia. You pushed him again, even after he had called your excellent question dumb, and you stood up to him, and there wasn't the tiniest bit of nerves. You were so strong. Look, I thought he was really exposed on the question of the Uyghurs. Even people who are China apologists have usually acknowledge that there is a human rights atrocity going on in Xinjiang. This has been likened to concentration camps, likened to genocide. Every international aid agency just about has done reports on this and called on China to address it. He wouldn't criticise it.
Yeah, look, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I think in general, when it comes to public debate, it's really important to have a broad perspective. So I think, unfortunately, when he made those comments about the Uyghurs and disputing that they've been subjected to, torture or hardship at the hands of Beijing, it kind of discredited his overall arguments. And I was also quite shocked when he referred to Taiwan as a so-called democracy. And I think those two specific instances do show just how out of sync he is when it comes to not only the academic community, the media, but government as well.
It's interesting that he is still such an influential figure in the Labor Party. So many ministers, current ministers, seek his counsel, and current Liberal premiers, by the way. Dominic Perrottet regards him as a mentor. Presumably they're not seeking his advice on China, but Keating did say that just before Anthony Albanese went to the G20, before he met for the first time, not a private meeting, but before he met for the first time with Xi Jinping, Keating said that he was the last person Albanese spoke to. So that does indicate that he is still very influential within the government.
Yes, I mean, there's no doubt about that he's still influential, but I thought it was really telling as well that in his speech he did say that the Prime Minister hadn't responded to a letter from him, and I think there was another attempt at speaking with Anthony Albanese this year, and Keating was saying that he was ignored. So I think that maybe on certain issues he's still very much revered, and people want to seek his advice. Was a much loved Prime Minister, and a lot of people in the Labor Party still respect and admire him. But I think when it comes to China, there's very much a different point of view, and I don't think that his perspective is so sort of salient for those in charge at the moment, especially when they're receiving the kinds of intelligence briefings they are at the moment as well.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the point in your question, that he hasn't had such a briefing since the 1990s. Olivia Caisley, thank you for your time.